our next guest is Neal Piper from Luminoah, and we're going to hear Zina Manji, who is the head of regulatory for digital health and innovation at Haelon, which is the consumer spinoff from GSK. For those of you who are not altogether familiar with everything that's going on in the healthcare system. And we're going to hear about how enhancing patient outcomes through digital health innovations is affecting what's happening in nutrition. So Zina, thanks for joining us again, and looking forward to your interview.
Thank you so much, Stan. Really great to be here today, and I appreciate the platform of HITLAB. I am so pleased to be joined today by Neal Piper, CEO and founder of Luminoah. In the short time I have discussed with Neal, I've been so impressed and really inspired by the work that he's doing. So thank you, Neal, for joining me today. A little introduction from you and mission of Luminoah.
Thank you very much, Zina. It's great to see you again, and thank you very much, Stan, for the invitation. My name is Neal Piper. I'm founder and CEO of Luminoah, which is a med tech company that aims to drive value-based care in the home for patients that need enteral nutrition through a wearable device and a digital health platform to provide real-time nutritional status for patients who are managing diseases such as cancer and GI disorders. I've been really fortunate over the past 2 decades to help drive innovation and provide quality access of healthcare for patients in about 18 countries around the world through companies like Pfizer and PSI, but nothing has been more important to me personally as the work we're doing through Luminoah, which started out of a personal need. The company started 3 years ago when my son, who is healthy and strong today, but when he was 3, had a tumor in his jugular foramen, which required him to need enteral nutrition for 18 months. So we experienced firsthand the challenges of providing care for him with the current technology that's on the market.
Yeah, thank you, Neal. And like most innovations, there's a purpose-driven need, and then clearly one here. And as you look at the common theme that's going on in terms of the marketplace, there's a consolidation versus pinpoint solutions. And how I understand the context of digital health is that it's not about the tech itself. It's about translating the data insights into predictive, reliable information on a personalized health status towards improving health outcomes and consolidating that data in connectivity to deliver care. Can you talk about your thoughts on this in terms of enteral nutrition and the unmet needs, and how a tech-enabled how tech can enable transformation in getting that personalized data and delivering a better treatment and optimal care?
Thank you, Zina. I think it really comes down to really empowering patients with their own health data and driving value-based care in the home and across healthcare more broadly. We've seen this innovation happen in the diabetes space with companies like Dexcom and Tandem, and for patients to be in control of their diabetes. We're seeing this across the board in digital health platforms that are coming on board with behavioral health and cancer treatments. And for us, there's currently nothing on the market that enables patients to know real time their nutritional status. People are writing handwritten logs of the last time they've received the feed. And so what we're seeing is through this consolidation is really empowering patients and giving clinical evidence to providers to really elevate care as patients are dealing and managing acute and chronic disease.
Yeah, thank you, Neal. I think as you described, it's a complex aspects to address. And one of the core problems we talked about in terms of enteral nutrition is about mobility. And would you say that that was a core problem that initially you were trying to solve in what you were designing? And if you think further about enabling mobility. There's all other aspects of living a healthy lifestyle that becomes possible at that point. As I understood, it takes hours for infusion. And that in and of itself is a debilitating treatment because you are stationary. So on top of that, and the progressive solutions that are possible with digital health and integration of the data, as you spoke about, in personalized care, which was not possible until today. What's your sense from the JP Morgan conference and on the types of solutions or integrated solutions that are attracting investors and that are of key interest, and your key takeaways on those thoughts?
Mobility was really a critical component of starting our company, and patients that need medical or enteral nutrition oftentimes are sitting 6 to 8 hours a day doing overnight feeds. Some are attached either to an IV pole or a backpack for 24 hours a day. And we, with the modernization of technology, the miniaturization of technology, we thought it was really important to leverage tools that we have today to create small wearable devices that can detach someone from an IV pole and live a normal, is the best quality of life that these patients can have. And our son was attached about 8 hours a day, and so we learned through reaching out to many users that others were dealing with similar problems. And at JP Morgan, it was certainly a theme that digital health tools, miniaturization of devices, and those two coming together with big data sets to either automate systems or provide health insights to both providers to prevent readmission to the hospital. It was certainly a growing theme. And for us, malnutrition is a $150 billion burden to the health system, and it was a problem that was important for us to play a role in and to help solve.
Thank you, Neal. And when you were looking at what to design in terms of your digital health platform, there are certain areas that I think you defined on what would be important to the caregiver or in the hospital, like you said, to see what's the status of the patient that otherwise was very manual. Can you talk a little bit about how you determined what were those critical data points to serve on a digital platform?
So with enteral nutrition, you want to know total volume, total caloric intake, ultimately breakdown of fat, proteins, carbs, total hydration a day, and other factors such as activity. And it's all bringing that data together to provide better outcomes. Currently, if you have a child that is at school that needs enteral nutrition, many times you need a skilled nurse. So parents are, have to homeschool and provide care in the home. And so for us, we really wanted to build a mom or a dad to know when nutrition was being delivered in the school, or a parent of a loved one in a long-term care facility to be able to know the health and well-being of a parent. And so that was really important for us, and really listening to users. I think anyone that's starting a medical device or any technology is thinking about that. It's really important to bring in as many users and providers as possible to really pressure test your thinking. For us, we don't want to assume that as an end value of one, our experience was the experience of others. There's over 300 disease states that can require someone to need enteral nutrition. So we wanted to bring in as many users and providers as possible.
That's incredible, Neal. And I think the key theme here is, again, it's not about the tech itself, but what the tech is enabling. And that also means what's important to the user to understand. And will that data be valuable? How will it be valuable? You also have to think about how is the data going to be displayed and shared in a meaningful way so that you can get those metrics. But also, like you said, considering the parents and the child is away from the home, how do you know if nutrition is being delivered, how it's being delivered? So now you have much more assurance, which is another problem that you're solving, is you have mobility, but now you also have reliable data to know what was actually delivered and was the outcome serving the need as well. So I think is amazing thoughts that have to really come together. If we talk about consolidation, it's really consolidating all of the information that's required, but is it meaningful? And pressure testing, as you said, with several different use cases to see is it valuable and is it actually going to be meaningful and usable? So thank you, Neal. It seems like I think as this area evolves, it's really important to continue to look at those use cases as they start to be applied even to more complex situations, as you mentioned, and the science around that, proven clinical outcomes, that connectivity and the translation of data for better patient care, all critical pieces. Weaved in here, of course, the personal aspect is that robust regulatory strategy to help to enable these innovations to come forward. So some closing thoughts, Neal, on how to actually bring these types of innovations to market. What are the key success factors when you look at regulatory strategy versus a market strategy, and what's actually important from a clinical standpoint? How do you weave that together?
I think it's really important to bring in regulatory consultants early on as you're working on human factors design, to make sure that companies really understand the regulatory pathway. There's guidance, clear guidance in FDA specifically on infusion pumps, and making sure that you find consultants and companies and hire people that have that experience and in working on that regulatory pathway. So for anyone here that's starting a company or looking to get into this space, certainly bring in regulatory earlier than later.
Thank you, Neal. Really great knowing you and getting to know you, Neal. I think it's an amazing innovation you're working on, not just the purpose it's serving, but also the broader aspects of the types of technologies and the concepts of integration and consolidation is really coming through here. So thank you very much for joining us today, Neal.
Thank you, Zina. Thank you, Stan.
No, fantastic, both of you. Again, Zina, phenomenal interview, and Neal, great work and congratulations.
Thank you.